Hey, y'all, my name's Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads Podcast. Brand new episode this week.
That's right. Another good one with an old friend of mine.
Yeah.
Mr.
Co-worker
Chuck
from
Dow.
a decade ago.
That's right. We had some good times back in the day before we were married, before we had kids, and now next thing you know, we're both married and both have kids. And man, Chuck, he has some great stories. You know, it's how he grew up versus now how he's a dad. You know, I really liked how he shared that story.
Well, and we kind of ran the full spectrum of serious and fun and goofy and little short questions where we were just kind of playing piddly, rapid fire question game, but then also, talking about some pretty big stuff. And so, and he's going to love to hear this when he hears it, but he was our most senior new dad.
First child dad.
He's our most.
I don't know how you.
He's our eldest. Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. He had the most life experience before he had a child. That's the way we'll say it. And we had a little fun with him on that one too. Yeah, so I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. So I think
of good stuff in this one, man.
Yeah, I think we, without further ado, I think we jump right into this.
Let's do it.
Decent Dads Podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads Podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome, he's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town, Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of two, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Well, I felt like you woke me and Chuck up with that
Energy,
second half
son.
of that
Energy,
intro.
son.
Me and Chuck were just looked at each other like, oh, hey,
we're here.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Right? But no, it's a good day for a good day, boys.
It's a good day.
Got our hoppy-ish coffee in hand. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for this episode because we got a great guest today, man. Got a guy that I used to work with back in the day.
True story.
And Chuck, I was trying to think of that before the episode, how long we've known each other, and dude, it's like a decade now.
10 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
isn't that
really
crazy?
10 years in November.
That's crazy. So Brian, I know Chuck a little bit.
I love it.
And so some good information about Chuck is he is
all the nitty gritty details.
He's
too,
an accomplished musical artist with the band Overflow.
Oh yeah, baby.
Look it up. He's quite the piano player as well.
Even better.
He's a Michelin star chef. Okay. And
working towards that star.
on top of all that, and most importantly, he's a pretty decent dad himself as
That's
well.
right.
Too.
About time we got one of those in here.
So I'm excited to hear, Chuck, all your stories. I know Brian is too, and hear some of the dad advice that you're gonna lay on us today. But I know you pretty well. I feel like Brian knows you a little bit, but some people might not. So if you will, tell us, who you are, what you do, give us your dad resume, tell us how many kids you got, what are their ages, and which one's your favorite.
Yeah, I'm just excited to be one of the cool kids.
Yeah, baby.
Be on the Decent Dad Podcast. I'm a financial advisor / managing director by trade. I run an office here for Synergy Wealth Solutions.
Cool.
My dad resume, I've got a 3-year-old who's bouncing off the walls currently, and I got another one on the way. Got another boy.
It's going to be madness,
man.
man.
Here November 6th. Going to have 2 boys bouncing around the way.
And you can say right now, confidently, that you have a favorite child until November 6th.
100%.
And then you're not allowed to say that anymore.
Exactly. That's a weird thought.
Isn't that funny?
It's true.
Yeah.
Depending on the day. You'll learn that. Depending on the day. I have a favorite child, okay?
I love you yesterday.
Yeah, that's fair. There are days the unborn baby might be the favorite at this time.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, because, 3 you said?
Oh,
so, yeah.
Right in the middle of the three-nager thing, huh?
Yeah, they have
that's why I
their
always
days.
laugh. We post. I say we as if my wife is responsible. I post way too many pictures of him on social media. Let's call a spade a spade.
Sure.
And everybody is like, oh, your boy's so cute. Your boy's so cute. I'm like, You see the highlights of social media,
Right.
You understand this is a best of reel,
You don't
right?
see the monster that comes out,
Right.
But it's 15% of the time.
That's right.
But it's still fun all at the same time, right?
100%.
Well, speaking of monsters, I mean, inevitably we're going to have tantrums when our kids are this age. I mean, like you said, 3, 2, and 1. Like we've got all the kids right in the height of tantrum ages.
Oh yeah.
And we do like to talk about tantrums on this show, if only because we feel like whether your kids are 3 or 33, inevitably they're still having tantrums. They just change as they get older.
Yeah.
What are you dealing with right now? Anything that stand out to you? Anything that stands out to you?
I had a funny story, and it's not that intense, but it's just
I'm okay
the
with
way
that.
it came across. It just happened 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Because we have the normal tantrums, right?
Sure.
And we all have the normal tantrums of literally, that's not the color gummy bear I was supposed to have.
Right.
And he screams,
Right.
and that's normal.
Sure.
So we have this routine, you know, it's usually on Saturday mornings. His granddad started, we call it running traps, right? Where they go run the errands on Saturday morning.
Okay.
And that's Dad and Jude time, right? So on 4th of July, we just got back from a vacation. We've been traveling. He's been out of routine. So we get up, we go run our traps. And our normal traps are, you know, he loves donuts. So gotta hit Krispy Kreme.
Right.
Sure. Krispy Kreme. He loves going through the car wash. So we do all the stuff.
Nice.
On the way home, I'm like, hey, buddy, we're going to stop by the grocery store and grab some stuff, which I was a little surprised because usually a normal tantrum comes out at some point because I'm either not putting him in the right area of the cart, right? It is what it is.
Right.
We weren't in there long. We go
so
in,
relate to that.
like completely event-free. I'm like, man, we're out of here with no tantrum. We're golden.
It's a good day.
We're scot-free. And if you've ever been like with your kid alone, you have this moment where they're in the cart and you're like, am I supposed to take my kid out of the cart, put him in the car, and then walk across the parking lot to put the cart up while my kid's over there by himself, or do I take him with me, right? But it's hot. It was brutally hot out. So the car's already started, the AC's on, so I take him out, put him in the car with no fight. Like, man, we're smooth sailing.
Yeah.
And so, side note, I got to preface this. One of the things we tell him all the time is, hey, Jude, you got to be a good listener. Right?
Yeah.
Be a good listener.
Good for you. I like that.
Be a good listener. You know, hey, if you're with your mom, make sure you're a good listener. So I drop him off in the car seat. I go take the cart pack, and I hop in the driver's seat, and I hear him say something. And when he gets tired, his voice gets real slow, right?
Right.
And I hear him say something like, what'd you say? And he goes, Daddy, you're not a good listener.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? He goes, I wanted to go with you. And it wasn't that. That's it, right? That's the whole story. But it was like, oh, like we're in a new era now.
Yeah,
like
we're
this
not
is
going to scream
savage.
about it. We're
going to use normal words in a calm voice of "You're an idiot, Dad."
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to call you dumb, and I'm actually going to use
Correct.
words and not yell
It's
about
going to
it.
make sense. I'm like, oh, we're in trouble.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's
So,
fun.
and you're using my ammo
Oh,
against
right.
me.
Right. Yeah.
Daddy, you're not a good listener. So, yeah, that was my tantrum.
Yeah, I got to say
Dude.
that's the calmest tantrum that we've had on the show,
Yeah,
but also makes the most amount of sense.
Oh, yeah. And just
it's
savage.
Dead on.
So, yeah.
And I'm like, I got nothing, right?
Right.
There's no answer
Oh,
to it either.
That's
like, you're
how.
right. I fucked
You're
it
right.
up.
It's pretty much.
Okay, so Jude and Liam are very close in age.
Right.
Very close. And this is funny that you brought this story up because literally last night we were giving him and Brody a bath. They take a bath together. And for whatever reason, I don't remember what brought this up, but Liam, he's just like, guys. And me and Allie look at him. He's like, just looking us dead in the eye. He's like, listen to me. We're like, okay, what is he about to say,
what's
right?
up? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I want bubbles in the bathtub. And me and Allie just look at each other and we're like, did he really just do that? And it's like, do you laugh or you're like, and Allie took the situation way better than me because I just laughed. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And Allie's like, listen, I'm the adult. I tell you when bubbles
Now,
go in the bathtub.
is he stomping for emphasis?
Effect.
Oh,
yet?
I mean,
yeah.
but it's funny, like the inflections that he puts on his voice
yeah.
and stuff. He's like, listen to me. And then he
So-
like calms down, like you were saying.
Normally,
bubbles in the
we get back from our vacation on Sunday, and on Mondays he normally goes to daycare.
Yeah.
But once a week, so Jody, my wife's parents, moved down here from Harrisonville about a year ago, and they live 8 houses away from us.
Sweet.
So it's
Yeah,
nice.
that's awesome.
Nice.
We got babysitters
Yeah.
8 houses
Hell
away,
yeah.
and his grandma is his mama, right? Well, he's out of his routine for a week and a half on vacation.
Right.
So she was kind enough, hey, just send him over to our house so he doesn't have to go back to school this early, right? So he knew he's going to Mama's house. Well, I had a slow day Monday. I got to, take our time in the morning. And I'm like, hey, I'm thinking we're going to drop him off 9 o'clock or something. It's 8:10. He comes around the corner. I go to Mama's house now. I'm like,
Whoa.
and start stomping, right? I go to Mama house now.
Dude, that's
Get
great.
it, buddy. All right.
Like-
Hey, you know what? Say what you
Yeah.
want.
Or,
Use your words.
Or have you, has he done this yet where like we'll tell Liam to do something like, you know, he'll be like, I want a cookie. And it's like, hey, well, eat your vegetables first. And
3 bites.
And Liam's like, ugh. And then he does it.
Yeah.
But the
Napoleon Dynamite style?
The hard side just kills me. And it's like, dude, am I living with a teenager or a 3-year-old right now?
three-nager.
Oh,
Absolutely.
God.
It kills me.
Well, see, I don't have Elsie is 2 and
Yeah,
just
you wait.
just
You
turned
wait, buddy.
2, so we're not there yet. It's at this point, it's just still big emotions that can't be matched with words.
Right.
She can and you can tell that she's struggling with the fact that she knows what she wants to communicate, but she can't get it spit
Right.
out.
Yeah, and you're the idiot that doesn't
Exactly.
Right.
And I don't speak her language.
Bryant, pick it up.
We're getting damn good at it,
Yeah.
but we're not there yet.
Absolutely.
But tonight is a perfect example. I got home. Liv actually starts a new job tomorrow. And so she has had a couple of days to herself, and today was her last day home. And so it was Liv Day. So she went and did some pampering spa stuff, and she went and did some shopping, and she went and did some stuff around the house that she wanted to get knocked out. And that ended the day with her wanting to cook dinner.
Yeah.
So she made some chicken tikka and wanted to make bread. And so she's got the dough sitting, and then Elsie and I come home. I pick her up from daycare and we get home, and Liv immediately goes, Elsie, do you want to help me bake? And Elsie goes, whoa, whips her head around.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there's a bear shit in the woods. Of
Right.
course I want to bake.
You want to be best friends?
And so I go and I change my clothes from work, and Elsie just goes right to work with Mom.
yeah.
Well, in the time it takes me to take my pants off and pull on a pair of jeans and put on a t-shirt or put on this shirt, Liv has given Elsie the entire 5-pound thing of flour, and it's just, I mean, it looks like it looks like a Colombian cocaine den. It's just,
I was gonna make that joke, but I was like,
it just looks like something out of the movie Blow.
Scarface, yeah.
Scarface,
Yeah.
and it's just everywhere in the floor, on the tower, because Elsie's got the little tower that she uses to get up to the counter, on the tower, on the counter, and that's the kind of stuff that just goes all over me. I'm not like a super tidy person, but the mess for the sake of a mess, I struggle with that.
Yep.
And so I had a really hard time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, else, let's just have fun. And what the hell? But so we get to the end of the deal. We're cooking them all in the pan. And I say, okay, let's go eat all of this food that we've made. Not happening. But she
Even though
cannot
she made
explain to me why.
Yeah.
She can't say, no. And you can tell it's just right on the tip of her tongue. She's got so many things she wants to say, but she can't get it out.
Yeah.
And what it really came down to is, no, I'm not done playing with this flour, but I
Right.
can't say that to you because I don't know how to say that to you.
I don't know all those
Yeah,
words
exactly.
yet.
I'm
Yeah,
not done
yeah.
playing with this flour. I'm having a lot of fun making a freaking mess.
Yeah.
And so I finally, get her over in her chair, and I handed her a piece of naan, and she was all over it, and it was fine. And then she had some chicken, and we were great. But
Yeah. Right.
for a good couple of seconds, the kid just could not communicate what was up, and also she wanted to be Johnny Depp,
Right.
cocaine
That's
lord
a-
in there slinging white powder around. So
In her defense, that is a great movie. I mean, it is a
solid
really
movie,
good
right?
movie. Yeah.
what about you, DC? What did you have?
Oh man, I don't even know if it was a tantrum. I feel like it was, escalated past a tantrum. Like it was more of a battle of, who's gonna give in first.
Sure.
So-
Battle of attrition.
Yeah, this was just yesterday. So yesterday's 4th of July. So we was just gonna spend the whole day together, and plan on going over to a friend's house and stuff. And he's like, it's gonna be such a great day, right? And literally from the moment that both boys woke up, about 7:30, it was something. Like we wake up, or when they wake up, we have breakfast ready for them, right? And it's the exact same breakfast for both of them.
Yeah.
The exact same amount for both of them, right?
Yeah. Gotta be fair.
Well, they wake up. Well, Brody wants what Liam has. Liam wants what Brody has. I'm like, guys, it's the same thing. Just eat your breakfast. Nope. They start losing. I'm like, okay, let's switch plates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. Now Liam wants what Brody has, and Brody wants what Liam has. I'm like,
We're
guys,
not agreeable
come
today,
on.
fellas.
Okay. So we get through breakfast, right? And then it's toys, right? I want what you have, you want what I have, and it's just a battle. And we're like, dude, what is going on? And then it's like Brody, if we're not holding him the whole time, he's losing it today, which is normally not like him. He wants to be set down and be free. Liam, if we're not doing what he wants to do, or if we tell him no, he's losing it, throwing a tantrum. We're like, dude, what is going on? And this is like, I'm not exaggerating this. This is literally from when they wake up at 7:30, get out of bed, to when they went down at nap time at 12:30. So 5 hours of nonstop tantrums. And we finally get him down for nap time. And me and Allie just look at each other and we're like, that was hard.
Yep.
That was a lot.
Did they at least go to like nap like that?
They did nap pretty easily and fell asleep pretty quickly. But Allie was like, you know what? She's like, we need some quiet time. You go do whatever you want to do, you know, while they're sleeping. So I went and mowed and just did my thing. She went and did her thing, and we were good after that. And then really once they woke up from nap time, they were pretty good. But it's like, I don't know if we've ever had that difficult, that long of a tantrum, because normally they're like way shorter than that, right? And normally it's just one of
little
them.
thing. Yeah. Sure.
And the other one's like pretty chill, pretty calm.
Not a big deal. Sure.
And so they kind of level each other out, right? But this time, both of them were just losing it. We still don't know really what caused it, if they got bad sleep the night before or some.
I mean, I feel like there's like a direct correlation, at least with Jude. I don't know if you guys experience this, like lack of sleep. Crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like, and the more tired he is, the wilder he is, the more emotional blowouts that you get.
Or like
I remember that stage too.
Oh, yeah.
He just couldn't communicate, and it's big emotion.
That's hard. Yeah.
Big emotion for
some old lady told us, you know, it was because there was a full moon that night.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, I don't know what it was. They were pissed off.
If that's the case, what was it 2 weeks ago?
I'm pretty sure it's not a 2 week cycle.
Oh man. Well, Chuck, the other thing we always ask everybody is, you know, give us, you know, maybe a good dad hack.
Dad hack alert!
Or maybe some that works for you, or maybe some good dad advice that, you know, you would share with another dad that's really, you know, again, it's worked well for you, that you think they could benefit from.
I mean, I think the dad advice is just the simple stuff. You know, it's crazy, just the perspective of, you know, he's 3 and 2 months already, and he was born 3 weeks ago, right? And
for real.
The days are long and the years are short. Like,
Preach.
I just constantly sit there in the moment, you know, of like, man, this is going by way too fast, you know? And even on the hard days when he's blowing up and all the craziness, it's like, man, I'm going to miss this. Like, I even saw one of those TikTok reels, you know, or whatever, of like, okay, you think about the time where your kid's being obnoxious, crazy, giving the massive tantrum. In 30 years, you would give anything to be back in this moment.
Yeah, for real, though.
And just trying to be present. The hack, though, you know, I was thinking about this now. It works, you know, 100% of the time, half of the time.
right.
But
Sex Panther.
Because he, like, again, Jude just gets nuts, right? But he doesn't mean to. He's just wired, you know. And he's 3. You know, he's a boy. He's 3. But I've tried
That's what he's supposed to do.
Because I mean, he's spoiled rotten, right? But we try to be pretty good about setting boundaries and being firm of like, no, you know, you can't have this. But when he gets in those moments, like, I'll do timeout. I'll usually physically pick him up, set him down. But when he's there, I've really started working with him the last year of doing breathing exercises. Literally looking him in the face, and I'm like, okay, you have to breathe the same cadence I do.
Right.
And it's funny because at first he'll go, and I'm like, nope, that one doesn't work. Like, you got to go the same. And so it helps, you know, just getting him kind of centered again and then send him back out. And then, of course, 5 minutes later, he's back in
back to being crazy. But at least for that moment.
We've tried to get him to do those breathing exercises, and I think it helps some.
I can say we've talked about the breathing thing because we like that a lot. Derek has talked about it first. I joked that it doesn't work at all for me because Elsie has zero interest in me putting her in a corner or holding her hands. She's way more into mom than she is me. But we started to do the timeout thing with the like holding her little feet down or holding her little legs down in the corner. It's like, all right, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about this for a minute. And we're going to try and breathe. It's awesome. I mean, when you can get them to do it, it's awesome.
Yeah, and we've got to a point now where we make Liam count his own breaths too. And so now, I mean,
there you go.
You know, he can count, you know, fairly decent, but he's still not like really fast at it, you know, so he can't go 1, 2, you know. So he has to actually think about it. He's like, okay, what number comes next? So that helps calm him down even more too.
Nice.
But yeah, no, that's a good one, man. That's worked well for us, you know. for quite a while.
Yeah.
But
Well, and it's funny because half the time, though, you almost have to physically restrain him.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I feel like, man, if I'm doing this in public, people are going to think I'm abusing my kid. And of course, that brings me back when he was. Thank God we're out of this phase. When he was just starting to learn how to talk. Anytime I would do anything, and I would just barely, I would pick him up. It would be, "Daddy hurt me."
oh no,
You can't use those words.
Right.
We're going to be in
words.
public. I'm like, this is going to go badly.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. And the breathing thing too, though. That's super beneficial because not only does it help them, but I feel like it helps you as a parent too. Because normally when they're really losing their shit,
I need to do the breathing myself.
right?
no joke.
You're losing it on the inside. You might not be
100%.
showing it how they're showing it, but you need some deep breaths
Oh,
too. And you're like,
woosah.
woosah. Yeah, right.
But isn't it funny that like when we were kids, and again, I'm fully aware that this is a dad saying back in my day.
Sure.
But why not say it if I'm not a dad, right? That your kids saying that now in this day and age, 100%. That would be a thing where somebody go, "Oh my God, that dad! Oh my God, what are they doing?"
Yeah, reporting him. Yeah.
As opposed to when we were kids, the people in the grocery store would hold your kid while you spank them.
Absolutely.
As opposed to
Right. Or they'd spank him for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's your
Different.
parent? I'm going
Can't
to
do
spank
that
you
now.
all the way there. That's a whole different can of worms. So,
Absolutely.
did your kid? Excuse me. Did your son do swim lessons? You guys done any of that stuff yet?
Did them. So
Okay.
we just got back from a cruise, and my wife wanted to get those done before we
Awesome.
went. Yeah.
So my dad hack has to do with swim lessons.
Yeah.
Elsie's still in diapers. It's hopefully short-lived,
Yeah.
but at this point we're still in diapers, and swim diapers in particular.
Sure.
Swim diapers do not hold pee. They only hold them little turds.
Yeah, they're catchers, not holders.
Exactly. There you go. So, with that thought in mind, I'm sitting myself thinking, one, I don't want to put a regular diaper on her, then put her swimsuit bottoms on,
right,
then
just-
get her there, then tape the swimsuit bottom off, then take the diaper off, then put the swim diaper on, then put the bottom on. So, for the ride from home to swim lessons, or when we transport her in a swimsuit,
Yeah.
swim diaper, regular swimsuit bottoms, and then a diaper over the whole thing.
Yeah, there you go.
And so if
Triple
she,
protection.
exactly. So if she pees through the swim diaper,
Yeah.
it's going to get caught by the big diaper.
right.
And so that's been my move now. Is I
And it
just
rinses
put the
off in
I was
the
going to
pool.
say,
And then I take
chlorine
the-
cleans it all,
exactly.
Why
And then
wouldn't
so I
you?
take
Such a
the-
smart
so I-
guy.
And fortunately, she's also, and here's what I'm going to tell you, she's also not peed since this has happened. So every one of those diapers the outer diaper has been
total
dry.
waste.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just been a total waste, and I just
Yeah.
throw it in the back of my vehicle.
But you
and
know the
that's-
moment you don't
Those things
do
are
it.
cheap, right? Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's why we still keep it. That's in the dad bag in the back of the in the
dad
vehicle.
bag.
I've got a dad bag in the back of my
Yes.
vehicle with diapers.
No,
and
it's not
wipes
that
and-
dirty. It's okay.
It's fine. It's been on the outside of her clothes. It's not that big a deal, Derek.
Right?
What about you? What dad hack
that's
did
a
you
great
bring?
comment. Yeah. So yesterday was 4th of July, right? And our cul-de-sac did a little. I don't know.
Spoiler alert: we record this several weeks in
Yeah, we
advance.
did. But time of recording yesterday was 4th of July, and our cul-de-sac does a little like fireworks. Not even a show. It's just like the neighbors get together and shoot off a few small fireworks, right?
Hey, quick question: are you inside the city limits or out?
Plead the fifth.
Thank you.
But
Yeah, I'm outside. We can't.
But yeah, so Liam, he's 3, so we feel like he's big enough now that he can start holding fireworks.
Little
The
sparklers.
ones that you're supposed to hold, not the
Yeah,
ones
yeah.
that blow up in your hands. And so so the neighbors had sparklers, and they mainly got them for Liam. They wanted him to try them, and so, but they were worried about hey, with sparklers, like some of them shoot off stuff, and they're like, we're afraid those sparks are going to come back and burn his little hands. But luckily, one of the neighbors is a retired teacher, so she has all the kid hacks.
Oh yeah,
right?
I like this.
And so she's like, this is what we used to do. She's like, you take a cup, paper cup, plastic cup, whatever it is there, and you take the sparkler handle, you poke it through, you turn the cup upside
Perfect.
down,
Yep.
poke it through the bottom, pull the cup
Little
over
gauntlet
their
sheath thing
over
for your
their
hand,
hands,
absolutely.
and we told Liam that this is a sword, so he thought that was super cool. Right?
Oh, yeah, of
he has a
course.
sword that's on fire. And
Sounds safe.
and like all the sparks, none of them hit him, and he was perfectly fine. And we was like, that is a great idea.
Yeah, that's
like, I'm
solid.
definitely stealing that for future years down the road here.
Everybody still have their fingers and toes.
Well,
all intact?
yes, intact. We kind of had a little.
Oh, I was being.
We kind of had a
facetious.
little mishap with Brody.
What had happened was.
What had happened
you
was-
see, what had happened was
Sensation.
the boys love smoke bombs, and so we got those little cheap smoke bombs that go off for like 10 seconds, and we was lighting them and tossing them. I didn't toss this one. I just want to put that out there. It was not me that tossed this one. Somebody in our family, that's the other adult in our family, threw this smoke bomb into the yard, and Brody goes running after it.
Oh, shoot.
And he picks it up, and they're not like really that hot except for where the smoke comes out in that little hole.
Where it's an active flame.
And Brody puts his little finger over that hole, and it burned at the tip of his finger. And so he had a little blister there on the tip of his finger. He was like pissed off for a few hours there. But
was he willing to be around fireworks?
Oh
from
yeah.
that point on?
Oh
okay,
yeah.
Didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Okay,
He was just pissed off that his finger hurt. But
I just listen and I'm such a prude.
I had the same thought because I'm the same way.
I hate fireworks.
We didn't do any of them.
The older I get, the more I hate them. And I'm just grumpy, get off my lawn guy.
Oh.
And it's more like I'm watching my kid and I'm like, he can't do those for 10 years.
Oh,
You know?
right.
Yeah.
So
You mean you're in your single digits? Absolutely not.
It is funny how
No
much
sparklers.
more cautious you are as a parent than
I'm ridiculous.
like think of
over the
yourself
top.
as like an 8-9-year-old kid, and you're like, oh, I do all you shoot bottle rockets out of my hand, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, hell no, I'd never let my kid do
in my
that.
own life, I'm the least paranoid person
Sure.
on the planet. For my child, everything bad's gonna
Dude,
happen.
and it's so funny the things that you choose to focus on. Again,
yeah.
spoiler alert, it's the day after the 4th of July, and Liv, Elsie, and I sat out in the backyard, and Liv bought a little blow-up pool to put in the backyard to play with. And, of course, we fill it full of water, and it's out of the well, ice cold. Elsie wants nothing to do with
Right.
it.
Right.
So it's like, well, shit. So Liv goes, well, maybe if we put the slide into the pool, then she can slide down the slide and hit the pool water. And I'm like, absolutely not. What the hell are you talking about? I'm an insurance agent. That's never going to happen.
Right.
But 5 seconds before that, Liv got on me because I initially set the pool out in the yard in the sun because it was way too dangerous for Elsie to have any direct sunlight. But let's send her down the slide
Right.
into
the
a
ice
pool. And that's safe. But the sun, God forbid we let that happen.
Right.
So it was one of those deals where Liv and I, like, after we got done, kind of like, what the hell's wrong with you? What the
Right.
hell's wrong with you?
Right.
Right.
Back and forth for a second. We're like, it's kind of funny to see the things that you find
right.
to be a priority in your child rearing. Because in the back of my head, I don't want broken bones. She's thinking like, skin cancer in 25
Right.
years.
Right.
Both of us are probably right. But also, her thing seemed way dumber than my thing to me. And she definitely thought the same thing about me.
Same. My wife's maniacal about sunblock. And I'm like, yeah. Whereas I don't want him near water.
So I thought we'd start off a little serious. We were talking ahead of time, and we kind of cleared this with you, but we thought it would be a good topic to talk about. You told us that when you were a kid, your dad wasn't around. And so I wondered if you would kind of tell us about that, tell us the story, and then also, has that had an impact on the way you parent, or have you, like, taken things away from that? Or just kind of tell us a little bit about your experience there.
Yeah, it just puts so much in perspective, and it's, I had a fine enough childhood, but, my dad wasn't around at all. I met my bio dad twice in my whole life.
Oh, dang.
And I think the weird thing is that combined with the fact that, it wasn't that long ago, I was in my mid-30s, single with no kids.
Well, back when I first met you.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, maybe that's just not in the cards for me. Maybe that's not what God wants for my life. And now here I am 5.5 years later. My wife and I will have our 5-year wedding anniversary in September.
That's awesome.
Got a 3-year-old and a baby on the way. And yeah, like it's emotional. There's a deep sense of this, I don't know, like it's hard to explain. Like it's almost like living out like the correction almost, right? Of like this thought of like, man, my life's fine. I turned out, I think, by many accounts pretty well. But I certainly went through a lot of challenges that had I had a father figure in my life, probably wouldn't have had to experience.
Sure.
And then just getting the blessing and the ability to be a dad in general, like that's not lost on me.
Yeah.
And then now just going, okay, I'm going to make it my mission that my son is not going to have to go through some of the things I had to go through.
Good for you.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
But what's weird is like then you think about the dichotomy of that, right? Because like I heard it described once. There was a speaker I was listening to, and it said, okay, you think about your kids. let's say I gave you this pen, and this pen's a magic wand. And I said, all right, Derek, Bryant, if you wave this magic wand, your kids will never have anything bad ever happen to them. Mm-hmm. Would you do it?
I think so.
Wouldn't.
Yeah, that's how I probably wouldn't. Yeah,
I don't know.
Because it's like you think about it, like that's what develops character, right?
Yeah, there is that.
So you're going to raise really
grow,
soft
right?
human beings that can't go through anything bad. So there's, that struggle. So I want to take all that stuff away, but at the same time, I don't want to coddle him so bad that when he gets out on his own, he's not equipped to make good decisions.
That is the give and take, right? Like that's tough.
So it's crazy, and it's amazing, and it's challenging, and it's hard, but it's perfect, and all rolled into one. I'll tell you though, like I can literally specifically, I remember this moment. I was talking with my wife, and Jude was maybe 18 months old or so, and we were in conversation. I don't even know why I had the thought, but like we're literally mid conversation, and I was just like, it just totally dawned on me, and I turned to her, I go, it's crazy because at this stage of my life, at 18 months old, my dad was already gone.
Yeah, that is nuts
so it's
to
like
think about.
I've already made it past what my dad was willing
winning
to do.
Sure. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, going back to that, years are long, days are short. It just, I'm grateful for it. I'm a terrible dad at times. We're all decent dads.
That's right.
That's what we're here for, dude.
Trying to learn it, a day at a time.
Keeping that bar within reach. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be learned from that, though.
Absolutely.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that is like such a hard line to toe, right? It's like you were saying there. It's like you want to provide everything. You want to protect your kids from everything. But if you do that, how are they going to learn?
My gut reaction is to say yes 100% of the time. I'm waving that wand right, left, up, down.
You got a girl
directions
as I can. We got boys. It might be a little bit different.
Don't get me wrong. I want to.
Right.
I definitely want to.
And that's my struggle.
Because I can't handle the thought of anything bad happening to him.
But God, I'm a mess.
The story I just told a minute ago about Brody picking up the smoke bomb, right? Mm-hmm. He got hurt, but he probably won't do that again, right? Yeah. And so it's like they have to learn somehow.
Sure.
But no, just the whole concept of parenting, and not to sound egotistical or anything of that nature, but it almost becomes this, because like I look back, my family has been that way for generations, so almost like, all right, at some point down the line, somebody's got to break that generational curse.
Sure.
And what's interesting too is like I look at my wife's family, and while they're not perfect people, they're amazing, right? And they're like who I think most families strive to be. Where you look at mine, and most of it's a mess. And it's like I want to create what my wife's family's created, and then finally be that first. Like, okay, I hope I do a good enough job that he turns out well enough. He does the same, and and you break that curse.
It's the most pressure I've ever put on myself.
Completely.
Oh, yeah.
I can say with a large amount of confidence that parenting has been the single most self realization kind of thing that I've come to where I'm really looking inside going, okay, well, you want to be as soft as you can with her. You want her to be that you're a perfect little princess, but also if you do everything for her, you're going to end up with a little princess who's not going to be able to do anything, tie her own freaking shoes.
Yep.
I love my wife to death, but she didn't know how to clean her car because her dad didn't know she needed to clean her car because she would go to her vehicle, every Friday morning, and it would be clean somehow. Don't know how it happened. Well, Thursday night, Dawn was out there cleaning her car every single week.
Yeah,
magic. The car fairy.
She is 32 years old, and the car fairy still has to come around. It's just me. So it's one of those deals where that's like a tiny little example, but also part of me is like, well, dang, man, we got to do something. We got to figure something out here.
Right.
Yep.
Gosh, yeah, man, that's so true. And Allie, she was pretty similar to you. Like her dad, was out of her life at a very young age. And it's so funny. I see her family and I see my family. I feel like my family's probably very similar. Like Jody's, grew up very traditional way and whatnot. And Allie's family did not, no father figure in the family there. But her family is so tight because of that, right? Whereas my family, don't get me wrong, we're tight. We all get along great. But I feel like her family's way tighter because of that. They didn't have the father figure maybe to to group around there and to centralize there. But yeah, so it's just funny, and you try to mold your family between, a little bit of Jody's in your case and yours.
Yeah.
Right. And make the perfect family, whatever that is in your mind. And we do too. And so it's just, parenting. Yeah. Like you're saying, it's a fun thing, man. You do the best you can. You don't know if it's going to work out till a while later, but
there's no handbook.
Hopefully you're doing it right.
Yeah.
But
well, and we've talked about we've joked several times on the show. Guests have said that somebody's got to write a book, somebody's got to put it together, and people have written books. But the problem is there's no one answer to any situation because nobody else's situation is exactly like yours.
Dude,
so there's if you could get the benefit of hindsight. Or you could time travel and teach yourself this shit down the line. It would make more sense, but it doesn't work like that.
The crazy thing of parenting, as you realize, is it puts the rest of life all in perspective. Right? It does this weird thing where you kind of finally realize, while I thought the world revolved around me, it doesn't.
Let me humble you.
We're not going to be here one day the same way as the generation before, and there's this weird revolution thing happening. And the other thing is like, look, I'll be 45 this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, I might be halfway done already, which is scary and weird to say.
That is weird to
right?
think about, right? Yeah.
But it's like, I remember as a kid thinking, oh man, these adults, they're in their 20s, they're in their 30s, they got it all figured out.
Yep.
And you realize the 75-year-olds haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
Everybody's just trying to
Everybody's
figure it out.
just figuring out how to get to the end of the day.
actually.
Everybody's winging it, man. Yeah.
Everybody's winging
Oh, dude, it's funny that you brought that up because literally tonight before I came over here, Brody was losing his shit as we was trying to put pajamas on him. And Allie's like, somebody needs to make like a video series or something of what it's really like to try to put a diaper on a child that's losing their shit. Not a doll that's just laying here.
Right. An actual wrestling an alligator.
Let's do some like some real parenting here.
Let's get to the chapter called The Alligator Roll.
What it's really like. Guys, we could probably make a lot of money on something like that.
I'm telling you.
Oh, man. But, Chuck, you just mentioned, you're going to be 45 this year.
Yeah.
You had Jude, I think, when you was, 41?
Yeah,
42?
41 and a half.
41?
Nice.
Yeah. So, you might, I don't know for sure on this, but you might be like our oldest dad to have their first kid. Not calling you old. But
I would never say that. I would never say that about you.
The wisest dad that we've. But yeah, so tell us, because I mean, there's times when I think I'm like, I wish I would have had kids younger because then it's like, man, I would be in, they'd be out of the house by the time I'm 40 or 45, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's other times I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have almost waited till I was older, and then I would have been even better off, financially, maturely, all these things. Yeah. So what is it?
So are you mature enough yet?
What is it like to have kids, your first child, when you're 40 plus?
Sucks.
Right? It sucks.
No, it's amazing. It's. I'll drop, not to get really philosophical, but a coach told me once that it stuck with me. It is impossible to be behind on your own journey. Right?
Okay.
Where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, that's a good little tidbit
I
right
get
there.
sometimes out. Because I mean, the day we found out we were pregnant with Jude, I'm doing the math. I'm like, I'm going to be 59 when he graduates high school, right? I'm skating under 60.
Yeah.
Well, now with this one on the way,
I'm going to be over
63. I'm not going to be an empty nester if I'm lucky until 66, probably, right?
Yeah.
That's how my life was supposed to play out.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, there's things that certainly I was far more mature. And the funny thing is, I thought I knew who I was before I became a dad, and then it still changed everything.
So true.
Even after I was very set in my ways, very comfortable in my skin, still completely changed me because it's just what it does.
Yep.
Sure.
I'll tell you, the overnighters suck in your mid-40s. And I'm getting ready to go do it again.
Why not?
Thankfully, we've been out of diapers for a long time, but I was thinking about that. I think I even put in, one of the stories I thought I might share is the trifecta. If anybody who's been a dad, you've been probably peed on. Uh-huh. You've definitely probably been pooped on. You've probably been puked on. I actually had it happen, separate occurrences on all three within 2 hours. Yeah.
Nice.
I get the trifecta.
Right. Attaboy.
Oh, yeah.
Did you go straight
pooped on and puked on all within 2 hours.
Did you go straight to the casino after that? You're so lucky.
I was like,
Yeah.
I was thinking, put that award on your
So I'm
mantle or
re-upping
something.
again November, and we'll see if the next baby has the ability to
See if you can get it all done at once. Really just drive
Let's
that
try it
home.
in an hour this time.
Well, you
not
start to
2
learn the
hours,
tricks,
right?
though. There's some dad hacks, right?
Yeah.
Like, put the rag over the penis because we don't want that thing spraying everywhere.
Right.
Don't change the diaper looking down the barrel as I described
to the
it.
side.
Change the diaper from the side, not from the end.
Absolutely.
Learned that one the hard way.
Keep the rag in place.
Caught a turd backloaded by a fart just straight into my
The
chest.
sad part is now I'm 2.5
Air
years
power.
removed. I'm going to forget all that stuff.
Oh,
and have to
right.
learn it all over again.
It's not an old joke though.
Yeah.
Not because you're old. That's not at all what it is.
But it's so. I mean, now as a father of two, now it is funny because you think like with your second one, you're like, oh, I've had one. I know what I'm doing. I got this. And then
You're not helping my case here.
But it's so funny. It's like the second one comes around and they do so much of the similar stuff that the first one did. And then it is like you forget about it or you just don't think about it or you're in the moment. You're like, oh, I'm trying to hurry. And yeah, they should.
This reminds me of a funny story I was going to share, though. Because one, I won't repeat. So here's the thing.
But again, this one I will.
This one, I won't repeat this with the next kid. Like I learned this lesson.
Okay.
Gotcha. Understood.
Again, I'm 41 years old, having my first child. But keep in mind, he's born May of 2020, height of COVID.
Right.
We're 8 weeks
Pandemic,
into stay-at-home
baby.
order.
Yeah.
All of our birthing classes got canceled. Then my wife says, no, they didn't. They moved them to Zoom. I have ADHD. I'm not watching Zoom.
It's not going to happen.
It doesn't work. So I didn't watch any birthing classes, right? And I've never sat in on a child being born. Yes, I'm old.
You weren't invited?
But I've never sat in until my son was born.
Yeah.
You weren't
didn't know what to
invited.
expect. I thought I knew what to expect. Apparently, I didn't. So he was born naturally, not a C-section. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
He comes out. His head's this long.
Oh, dude.
This long, right? He has jet black demon eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the blackest charcoal. He's got alien head.
Right? The cone head.
Literally.
The cone head.
The first few pictures taken, I instantly deleted them off my phone because I saw my facial expression. I'd kill to still have those photos. I'm literally looking at him like, this is fucking not my kid. Right? There's no way.
She birthed an alien. What alien did she have sex with?
This is not my kid.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that's what they're supposed to
Yeah.
expect.
He didn't.
Like, I knew their heads got smashed coming out, but this is like,
No.
I mean,
dude.
he's 12 inches long.
Yeah.
And the head's longer than the body.
No, he
Like-
didn't. He didn't experience that. They had a
Yeah.
C-section.
Oh,
so he-
yes, we did though.
Right.
Because Elsie,
Oh, man.
so Elsie pushed for 12 hours, and then we had an emergency C-section. So we got both sides of
did
it.
she have the
so
elongated
she
head?
had the elongated,
Oh, okay. I didn't think you got to
elongated
experience
purple
that.
head, but then they just went in and got her.
Yeah.
So both sides of that, and Elsie also had jet black hair and jet black eyes.
Yeah.
And now she's a little blonde, blue-eyed baby. Makes no
Oh,
freaking
dude.
sense.
Yeah.
Totally.
But was that not the most frightening thing? Because
Seeing that
Because
head.
nobody told me.
It-
And I'm like,
did they immediately put the cap on him?
oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
and even still, I'm like,
I
the
caught
cap's
it.
longer than
I
the baby.
I like locked eyes with the doc or
Yeah.
with the nurse or whoever it was as they were putting the little hat on my
Right.
baby, and they could see I was looking, and they were trying to hurry up.
Oh right. right.
Don't
Right.
show dad. Don't show dad.
No,
Don't show
I
dad.
straight up asked him. I was
Yeah.
like, "Is that how his head's always going to be?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "No,
Is that
it'll
natural?"
go back to normal." And I'm like,
Right.
"How? This thing's like 2 footballs in length. Like, how's this going to get back to a
I'm like, that
basketball?"
ain't cute.
Yeah.
No,
that is not my
no, like there's something wrong with my child.
Correct.
Is this gonna grow back
3 days later,
or grow
like,
less
all
or do
Right,
something?
right.
Yeah.
It is
He's
funny, like
fine.
day by day, like it gets slowly back to normal. But
Do you guys have like a helmet or something we can use to
Right,
squish this thing
right.
back down?
Telling you. Scared the crap out of me.
So you did the math on when your kids will be out of the house.
Yeah.
I can tell you that like my best friend from college, Rusty, his dad was also, he was about the same age that you were when Rusty came out, when Rusty was born, and he's one of the best dads I know. So I think frankly you're going to get the benefit of adult money.
Yeah.
And adult experience,
Well, and
and also
maturity,
getting maturity,
right, yeah.
and all of those things. Because Big Russ, it was so much fun. Even when we were in college, because he was the dad that wanted to grill out. He was the dad that wanted to, like, the beer fridge is full, boys. I cooked. There's 5 of you in my house. I cooked 15 T-bones.
Right.
And I'm here because I can afford it.
can you give me Big
And
Russ's
because
number?
I'm ready.
I mean, that 100%
Like-
would be
like
us.
that you're
I
excited to
want
be that-
house.
Yeah.
He wants
Right.
to come.
That all the
He
kids
wants
come
to
to.
be
Yep.
at all the kids
Yep.
come over.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
100%.
What
Yeah.
about so I joked about the grilling thing. Which of the stereotypical dad hobbies have you gotten into? because it's inevitable, right? That when you become a dad or you get a little older in your life, you go to grilling, you go to whiskey, you go to woodworking, you go to beer brewing, you go to, like, there's a handful of dad hobbies. Have you gone to any of those, like weekend warrior stuff?
The funny thing is, like, I've always loved to cook.
Yeah.
So I definitely love to grill out, but I don't know if that's anything new.
Sure.
That's been
okay, fair enough.
I've been to Home Depot more in the last 2 years.
Bro, don't even get me started.
Life. I used to joke how much I hated it. Like, I've owned my same house. I've owned my home for 13 years now.
Yeah.
And I always laugh because I'm like, I'm not cut out to be a homeowner. Like, I hire people for everything because I know my skill set and I'm bad at that stuff.
And yet you still try.
Yeah. We took on a patio project this year.
Ooh, what is it?
And built a 450 square foot patio.
Sweet. Nice.
And I did a good 60, 70% of the work myself.
Pavers and everything out there?
Patio pavers, over the top. Built my brother-in-law built a retaining wall. We had the gravel poured, the whole nine. And then, of course, my wife thinks I'm nuts because, and I was like, this has nothing to do with football. This is only for the kids to watch movies.
Of course.
But we put in a 86-inch television outside.
Small, quaint.
You got to be able to squint at least to see the screen.
Right, when you're at the neighbor's house 2 doors down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. I love that.
Just got that done over the last few months.
Nice.
I will say during the process, it was the bane of my
Kissing
existence.
it up one side and down the other.
But
sure.
it's done
That makes
now.
me feel
But yeah,
so
I mean,
great.
you wouldn't have caught me dead.
Sure.
At Home Depot 5 years ago.
Well, I saw
Yeah.
another of the 10,000 reels or TikToks or Instagram things going through, and it was the choose your character, like the old Mortal Kombat games where you scroll through the characters and it's different, but it was different dads, and it was specifically
that's good.
different dad hobbies, and it was the grill master, and he's got the tongs, click, click, and the whiskey connoisseur, and he's got like the mustache and the whiskey glasses and
You can do that with your
woodworking.
stash.
Yeah, I can. I've
You know,
got
I
there.
will say that I've gotten more into old fashions, and I don't really drink. I mean, I have the stuff to
Old
make it.
fashions
I
are
drink them
solid,
maybe
though.
like once every 3 or 4 months. Like I drink very rarely.
Yeah.
But I had to have the proper ice, right? I had to have the whole nine, and it's
Oh yeah.
Dude.
So that's definitely another dad.
Funny. I just
dad
wondered
hobby I've gotten
if
into.
would you identify with any of those?
So I don't know if I'd personally identify myself as any of those, but my wife sure as hell would identify me as that.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you bring up the patio thing because
Yeah.
at our house we have like a 2-tier deck, and our deck is massive. Whoever built this before, I don't know why they made it so big, but it's like 30 years old, so it needs redone. And my wife's like, "Well, this is what we could do," and she's bringing up all these like
Pinterest.
Pinterest contemporary concepts. I'm like, you realize. Like this is not what I do for a living.
Yeah,
right.
I'm a hobbyist, sweetheart.
Like, I mean, if you want me to replace some boards, I can do that. But if you're wanting me to change the whole layout of the deck, like that's a whole nother story. And then even tonight, before I came over here, she's like, I really want because our downstairs fireplace doesn't have a mantle on it; it just has the bricks.
Yeah.
She's like, I really want a mantle on that fireplace. She's like, you can do that, right? And I'm like.
You can too, right?
Yeah. I'm like, you really don't realize like what all goes into this. She's like, but you can do that. I'm like, well, how do you want it to look?
Right.
Yeah, I can do it. It's gonna look like crap,
If
but
you
I
want
can
it to
do
look
it.
like shit, yes, absolutely. I'm your guy. I'm your guy. If you want it to look,
Liam did it.
if
but,
you if you want it to look like those Pinterest photos that you're looking at, you better hire somebody, right?
Well, and I won't say that I'm a professional, but see, I've got the other direction. I'm married to I'll do it myself girl. To the point where like she will take projects under her, wing that she has no business doing.
Yeah.
But I love her to death, and she was raised by a strong you're a big girl, you can do this kind of family, which is awesome, but also she can't do it. Like there are several instances where I will catch her trying to move an entire I was just doing it upstairs. She was trying to move her entire desk, like lift and turn and swivel her entire desk. I'm like, hey, dummy, I love you very much.
Yeah.
There's a big
You
stupid
got a
guy
big
with
strong
My
man
wife's words
downstairs.
ring in my ear. I'm a strong, independent woman.
Yes,
I don't
right.
need no man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it
I'm
is.
the
There
most
is.
dependent, independent woman you ever met.
Exactly.
Right.
I get that. What about? So you talked about liking to cook.
Yeah.
What's your go-to?
Ooh,
In a
that's good
hurry.
question. That's a good
In a
question.
hurry.
Meal for your kid. Let's say
Yeah.
it's
Oh, for
you look up. It's noon now this is maybe last year when we were still in the height of naps and everything for you, but like it's 12:30, you realized, oh crap, we haven't eaten lunch and it's nap time.
Yeah.
What's your go-to like quick meal for the kid?
I'm a diva. I'm probably not making it. I'm calling Marco's. We have a Marco's pizza around the corner.
They're
there in 18 minutes. Yeah.
Is Jude a
I'm
big pizza fan?
Bet. I'm okay with that. I'm into that.
It depends on the day. He's gotten real temperamental.
Our boys love
it is a
pizza.
crapshoot on anything now.
Yeah.
Usually loves hot dogs. Today he didn't want a hot dog. So you have no idea. And he loves broccoli. Like he actually loves broccoli.
Yeah. We have one of those.
So you don't know. Yeah.
That's funny.
If I'm making it, I don't know. In a hurry, I don't know.
So then take the hurry out of it. If it's like, you know what, I want to make something for my son. What's the go-to?
He's still just so simple. Like he just wants hot dog and mac and cheese.
I'm into that.
I don't know if you can go wrong with mac and cheese.
I mean, I'm gonna work on that palate of his as he gets a little older because Dad's not eating.
As a 32-year-old man, I still love mac and cheese.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd like to avoid it as much as I can, but I'm still going to eat it. There's a handful of other ones like sunny Saturday, mom's gone. What's the go-to Dad Judah event? What do you guys go do?
I mean, we're definitely going to get some donuts.
Yeah.
I love that.
Usually just the park. Like that's the one thing I appreciate. But like, look, don't get me wrong. We were talking about it earlier. Off the record of, I used to always judge parents when I saw them give them before I had kids, give them a device and whatnot, and then you realize once you have kids, just right, whatever. Take the phone. Be quiet.
It's not going to be that bad.
And so we do that sometimes, in certain circumstances, but we do try to limit screen time. One thing I love about him, though, that kid would be outside all day long if you let him.
Cool.
So more than anything, it's just go to the park.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
We'll go, especially now that the new Nixa Park opened. We live not that far from Nixa.
So cool, man.
That park
We
is
went over
really,
there.
really cool.
I hadn't been until one of our buddies' birthday party, his kid's birthday party, and holy crap, man.
Yeah.
There's like interactive, the place that talks to you.
Yeah.
Whatever that big arch thing is out there. It plays games that are nonsense.
We'll
but
go
the kids
there,
don't know that.
or we'll go to Sequiota, and then I take him somewhere to eat, and we go to a restaurant.
Awesome.
And like, I know a lot of people don't take their 2 and 3 year olds to restaurants. I'm like, you know what? He's got to learn somehow.
Yeah, and I think especially like now that you still just have one. I mean, one's super manageable.
Yeah.
Right. And so
once it's 2, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, 2 like I mean, just speaking from my personal experience, 2's not bad either, especially once they get a little bit older. But I think 1, I mean, especially doing that just one-on-one time, with them is so important. And I don't know. I think like as a parent, you have in the back of your head, you're like, oh, I'm so scared. What happens if they throw a tantrum in the restaurant? But when it's you and him one-on-one time, he has your full undivided attention, right? And so more than likely, he's not going to throw a tantrum in that case because Dad's paying 100% attention to him.
Sure.
And if he does, I'm picking him up and we walk in.
Right. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, we're leaving.
Of course, I took him, and this is funny. Again, I don't even take my kids to kids' restaurants. So I'm taking them to wherever.
Right.
I took him to Bowie the other night because Wednesday nights is always just Jude Dad time because my wife works late on Wednesday nights. So we go to Bowie. And he's in one of those hyper moods, right? He's bouncing off the walls. We literally sit down on the booth. He's beside me because that's another dad hack. Always sit in the booth because you can trap your kid.
Right. Sure. Make sure they're on the inside. Yep. Yep.
He's jumping up and down on the back of the booth. We've been there literally for 20 seconds. I'm turning around to the server telling him I want a water, and I hear it. He jumped up and down and hit it. And
caught his chin on the thing.
I don't know. He hit his lip somehow and bit through his lip, and there's blood everywhere.
Oh no!
And so I'm looking at the server. I'm like, I know I told you drink order, but I might have to take my kid to the ER.
Right.
I don't even know if I'm
might need
staying
stitches.
anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
He's freaking out. I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, really, the
It's a lot of
first
blood.
ER visit is just me and him.
Bloody child, great.
Now, thankfully, the blood stopped, and he was like, I'm good. And we stayed and ate, and we still had our
It was
moment.
great. It was
Of course,
great.
he had a wedding that he was the ringbearer in 2 days later.
Big ol'
Still
fat
had
lip.
old fat lip.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
up?
All
That's
well
all right.
that
That
ends well.
happens. I get that.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck. Well, being a dad of 2 myself, it was super funny when Liam found out that we was having a second, and we was kind of telling him about it and stuff. And he was younger than Jude is now, and so he didn't quite understand what he was in for and what we were going to bring home. And then once we brought Brody home, he wasn't the biggest fan of Brody. He basically ignored him for the first 2 months of Brody's life, and then he realized, he's like, oh,
This
thing is not leaving, so I guess I better be friends with it. So
wait it out.
I'm sure you've talked to Jude quite a bit about, like, hey, you're going to have a little brother coming soon. So what's Jude's reaction to having another sibling, having to split attention, right?
See, that part's going to be interesting once the baby's here.
Yeah.
Right? And I worry about that because he is very used to being the center of attention everywhere. I mean, heck, we just got off the cruise, and the kid's the star of the show everywhere he goes. Don't know where he gets that from. Attention
Has to be his
Hello.
mom. Has to be his mom.
But no, like it's been funny because he's just at that stage where he's figuring everything out, and
It's
most
fun.
everything makes sense. And then he says something, and okay, this kid's 3 years old. The funniest part, so at the early stages, because we found out super early. Like we were only 3 weeks pregnant when we found out.
Oh, wow.
It feels like we've been pregnant forever, and we're 5 months along, I think, right now. So it's like, hey, buddy, mommy's gonna have a baby. Do you want a brother or a sister? And he'd
Right.
go, a puppy.
Fair.
Wasn't an option.
No,
but
thank
okay.
you.
Yeah.
No,
Not
thank
gonna get one of
you.
those now.
Right.
I love dogs, but now's not a good time. But then the best part, like, kid you not, and it wasn't even one time. He was consistent with this answer. So if we have a baby brother, what do you want to name him? Black. If we have a baby
Strong
sister,
name. Yeah.
what do you want to name her? White.
What?
Okay. Those are good
Yeah.
colors.
I mean,
We're not going to use that.
Yeah, those
So,
aren't names.
I mean,
Those are colors.
did-
it
pal.
was like the first time he did it, I'm like, what in the world? I'm telling, like that lasted for like 2 months.
I mean,
Oh,
it
I
worked
love it.
out.
Anytime you asked him, same answer every
Yeah.
time.
It worked out
Black
for
brother's
Jay-Z
black,
and Beyonce, though.
sister's white.
Blue
Blue,
Ivy.
you're right.
Yeah.
And it's just like the mind.
I hate
of the
that you know
child,
that.
So.
I absolutely hate that you
But
know
he's
that.
excited, like he's pumped.
Yeah.
I mean, he rubs on mom's belly. He
Cool.
talks to his brother, and it's super cute when he does. And in fact, like the baby's getting big enough now that genuinely, I think the baby kicks more when he's talking to
Oh, that's cool.
anybody
Yeah, that's
else.
awesome. That's so much fun.
They're going to be
So
best friends.
They're
man.
gonna.
Yeah.
I do fear what you said though, of like, and we've even talked like once the baby's here, trying to be intentional because he doesn't know. Like he's
Right.
he's the idea.
Doesn't
of
comprehend it. Yeah.
Doesn't comprehend. Hey,
Yeah,
buddy,
there's
you're
no
no
nothing
longer
related
going to
to
be
it.
the only one. And so, trying to make some sense of normalcy of he and I still having Dad Jude time.
That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. You
Those
got to
kinds of
still do
things.
that stuff. You got to be intentional about still getting with
Yeah,
them. And
that
doing
one-on-one
kind of
time is so
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
after you have two. Because I know,
Yeah.
I mean, I just noticed with our two boys, it's like if I take Liam out on like a boys' date, just me and him, and then Allie does her and Brody, and then we flip flop the next week, and me and Brody go out, and her and Liam go out. Like the whole rest of that day, and really probably the rest of that week is like it's just so good because they realize like, oh hey, I got your full attention there, and so that makes
Sure.
that makes a big difference. And I mean, just speaking from personal experience, like that does help a lot. It's hard to do. I'm not gonna
Absolutely.
lie,
Gotta be
it's hard to do to keep that
Sure.
like hey, I got to set aside X amount of time for Liam. I got to set aside X amount of time for Brody. It's tough to do, but it does. I feel like it makes a difference.
That's where even too, like I think about, like I was basically raised by a single mom for all intents and purposes. And we got 2 adults in our family that both do fairly well. Like we're fairly well-adjusted adults. And I don't even know how we do it some days. Like
Dude.
it's
Right?
absurdly awful. And so then I've always had respect for single parents, but now I'm like
Even more
and
so.
we only have one.
Uh-huh.
I can't imagine 6 months
Dude.
from now what the world's going to be
The
like. with 2.
only reason I have kind of Liv and I are still on the fence.
Yeah.
Whether we have another. And she is pretty much in the no camp
Yeah.
and with maybe a little bit of wiggle room, and I probably would have another kid.
Yeah.
The only thing that is really keeping me from pushing hard on it is the fact that I've gotten pretty comfortable with I learned how to do this one. I learned
Yeah.
how to handle raising this one kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Adding another one just screws up all my plans.
Yeah,
I got used to this. I know what I'm doing.
You don't know what
get
you're missing.
really deep,
I know,
and we'll
trust
me.
figure it out. But it's like, look, when I first found out that Jude was a boy,
Yeah.
I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I wanted
Really?
a girl bad. And a lot of it was just like, I have 3 nephews. My wife has 3 nephews. We clearly can't make females in our family.
Sure.
And so it's like, all right, this last time around, I'm like, It's a girl. It's definitely a girl. When we found out we're having another boy,
for
it was like, which
now?
I'm over the moon excited, right?
Yeah, you're not.
But then it's also like, well, are we going to try again? I don't think we are. We'll see where it goes. But then, of course, then it gets annoying though too, because then everybody's like, oh, you got to try again. I'm like, well, maybe we don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with my family. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you brought up that point where to parents that feel like they know what they're doing there with one kid, right? And there's times where like me and Allie are the same way. We're like, oh gosh, how are we going to make this work?
Yeah.
But Allie has a friend that has 5 kids. Like her best friend has 5 kids, a 6th on the way. And her and her husband are teachers.
Do they know
what
caused this?
Right. Oh, trust me, I've already tried to talk to them. And they're both teachers, and they make it work between them. And their kids are the most well-behaved, most well-respected kids. And I'm like, we only have 2. What the hell are we doing wrong?
Yeah, right.
I will never test this rumor, but the rumor is that I've talked to other parents is that once you get past 3, it's easier.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, I don't want
Because
My wife's
then
trying to
the
talk me into
older
3. Don't
ones
tell me
are
that.
taking care of the younger ones.
Yeah.
And it's autopilot. I'm like, I'll never know because I don't know that we're going to 3. We certainly ain't going to 6.
Yeah.
Right. I know. That's why I said I was like 6.
Dude, like,
kidding me?
Maybe if this was like the 1940s, it would make sense, but that in my brain does not make any sense at all.
Yeah.
There's times
No
where like,
chance.
literally, how do you guys make it work with that many kids? How? It's impossible.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
Well, and even financially.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I had that
expensive.
it was my exact thoughts. Like, shit, I don't like
Well,
spending
and
the
I
money
even
on the
laughed
one.
too because I remember when we first got pregnant, my wife was like, "Are you sure we're ready?" And I'm like,
oh yeah, we had a conversation. Yep.
"Have you looked around you? I'm pretty sure we're more ready
doing
than
okay.
99% of parents
Right.
out there.
Yeah.
No one's ever fully ready, And
But
not
we're
that
in our
special,
40s.
But it's like, I think, it's almost like the movie Idiocracy. Remember the old movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, we're going to wait a little longer, and then you've seen the movie.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Well, Idiocracy is a funny movie, so let's talk about everybody's favorite part of the podcast.
The dad jokes.
Oh, it is.
He knows
that.
what it is.
He
It's
does.
Dad Joke of the Week!
It is that time.
Yes. What's up?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
That's
Hey.
right. So I'm going to start out with the first ever Decent Dad's knock-knock joke.
Oh.
So I'm going to ask you guys, knock-knock,
Who's there?
Yoda lady,
Yoda lady
Yoda
who?
why are you guys yodeling?
Oh, that was good.
Sorry,
That
that's
was
about
good.
as lame as it gets. All right.
Chuck did a lot better job.
Yeah,
than I did.
Chuck got it.
I got it
First
instantly.
yeah, I just really was hoping to get somebody
It's
to
the
not get it at
musician
all.
side.
That's
Yeah,
right.
there you go. Now
I
you're
told
talking.
you he's an accomplished artist, and
I
that's
love
why
it.
he got that.
What do you got, Chuck? What's your dad joke?
I brought 2.
Good.
Oh.
I brought 2.
Good. So we
Okay.
can count that as mine since mine sucks so much.
Because one, I thought about this, and it's not technically a dad joke. I got this from my nephew, who was now a senior in college.
Perfect.
But I also feel like I'm at an age now where any joke's a dad joke, so it qualifies.
Yeah, comes with the territory.
My wife hates this joke, but I think it's the funniest thing I ever heard. But I'm going
Perfect.
to end with that one. So the first dad joke, like you've seen geese flying, right? And anytime you see geese fly, they always fly in a V.
Right. Yep.
One side is always longer than the other.
Yep.
Do you know why that side is always longer?
No.
It's got more geese in it.
Oh Jesus. Yeah.
It's so simple, but so good.
bar. I went lower. So, okay,
That's good.
So we're going lower, kids.
Oh,
Just wait.
it gets
My
better.
nephew told me this. All right. So here's my favorite joke. Favorite joke. All right. Here we go.
Duh.
What does an eagle and a mole have in common?
I got nothing. No idea.
What does an eagle and a mole have in common? They both live underground. Well, except the eagle. My nephew told me that, and I lost it.
It's like, buddy, that doesn't make any friggin' sense. That's hysterical.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever
Right? Oh, guys.
Derek, what do you got?
Except the
Oh,
eagle.
man.
Except the eagle. That's really
Man. Luckily, the bar's pretty low right now.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know,
We've limped our way in. Take us
we'll
home.
see how this one goes over here. Okay. So, when it's boys' night, when Allie has to work late, after dinner, our thing is to go get ice cream after dinner, okay? Brahms is our spot, so we always go to Brahms, get our ice cream, okay? And we
Cannot believe that that's your spot. Sorry, please continue.
Okay.
I'm with you, Brahms.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we all have our own things. Like Liam loves blue ice cream, so
Okay.
he gets a scoop of the blue. Brody,
Once whatever.
he can't really decide yet, so he gets vanilla. Okay. I'm more of a banana split guy, like a little bougie, little fancy there. So I like a good.
You really?
I like a good banana split, and there's a lot of things that go into banana split, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the other day we was there and I was eating my banana split. And I was kind of thinking, how do you learn, or more like, where do you learn to make a good banana split? Do you guys know?
No idea, Derek.
We're going low.
Sunday school.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Sunday
That's
school.
pretty good. Yeah, I'll give you one for
All
that.
right,
That's
all
pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to admit that my friend actually eats banana splits? I'm so unhappy about
Honestly, yeah. I don't want to ruin the joke, but I don't eat banana splits, so this is awkward.
What? Well, I mean, I think that's probably getting pretty close to the end, don't you think?
Yeah, man, that's really all that I got. I just want to give a shout out to all of our listeners, subscribers there on social media. I think last time I checked, YouTube wise, we were at 1540 subscribers.
Yeah, well over 1,500.
Getting
Pretty excited about that.
getting a lot of great comments on there. So please continue to like, subscribe, share all of our social media stuff. And continue to give us your dad hacks, your dad advice, your dad jokes. We're gonna steal them. We're gonna give you credit for them, but please continue to do that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, one last thing I do have to say. Way to go, decent dad.
Hey,
Way to
Part
go,
of the
Chuck.
club.
thank
Part
you
of the
guys for
club.
having
Good
me.
job, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here, man.
Ton of
Thank
fun.
you so much. Hope
Yeah.
you had a good time.
Did awesome, Chuck.
So unless anybody else has anything else, I think we'll bring this thing to a close. So
I got nothing.
Thanks very much, fellas. We'll see you next time. The lady man said.
When I see a beautiful lady, I say, "Hey, sweet thing,
Hey.
can I buy you a fish
Sweet
sandwich?"
thing.